Hey guys, this is my first review that I'm going to be doing ever. This is a spur of the moment thing. I haven't rehearsed anything. I probably should have done, and I might review this again and replace the video for a better one if I decide to review what I'm going to review today again. And what I'm going to be reviewing for you today is... ta-da! Yep, Warhorse, compiled by Nick Stafford, based on the novel by Michael Morpurgo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So, yeah, what did I think of this play? 11 out of 10. Okay, this is the best play I have ever had the privilege of seeing. It was magnificent. Everything about it was perfect. The performances, spot on. Nothing overplayed, nothing underplayed. Effects, brilliant. The puppets that were the horses and other animals, you know, cows and ducks and such. Very good duck in it, by the way. Go and see it just for the duck, if nothing else. It was magnificent. It was the best play I've ever seen in my life. It was just so moving. And what's interesting is that I found it so moving because the main character, which is the horse, was a horse, and you could tell what this magnificent creature was feeling, even though he never speaks. But the way the puppet is operated, it's just, you can see and you can feel what this creature is feeling throughout the whole narrative. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of the story I should give away, because if I do, then, you know, people might not want to go and see it, but I've got to give you something, obviously, otherwise this is going to be a very short review. So let's start with, basically the horse Joey gets captured, and in a bidding war between two brothers, one a former soldier and the other one that stayed on as a farmhand, and he gets bought by the farmer brother, who, it has to be said, his wife isn't pleased with because he used the mortgage money to pay for that. And this is set in 1912 at the start, so, you know, money wasn't really had by a lot of people, so using the mortgage money to pay for a horse, yeah, didn't exactly go down well. So, because the only solution now is to make a profit on this horse by selling it again, so that means toughening it up, well, not toughening it, but, you know, making it stronger. So they give it to their son Albert to look after, and he does that, and he forms a very, very special bond with the horse. I mean, it goes beyond. It's much deeper than anything that you have with a family member or a lover. It's just so much deeper and stronger than that. You know, they can tell what the other is thinking, even though they can't strictly talk to each other and understand, but they can read the intent in the way they act and the way they speak. So, long story short, Joey eventually gets shipped to the front as a cavalry member in the First World War when it breaks out, and eventually gets captured by the Germans, along with another horse that he makes friends with, but not going to talk too much about him for the moment. And upon hearing that Joey has gone missing, Albert just signs up instantly because he's determined to find his horse. And that's very moving, you know, to see someone willing to go so far for their horse. I mean, you know, it's not like it's a person. It's not like it's well, you know what I'm saying. It's amazing to see someone would be willing to go so far for a horse, and it is incredibly moving. And you know the horse would do the same for him if he was able to find him. So the play basically cuts between Joey's story and Albert's story throughout the way through. Although it has to be said, it is mainly with Joey, but that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because I actually think it's interesting to see the horse struggle on, trying to last long enough to get back home. Even though he has no idea what's going on, he's been caught up in the chaos of this war, which has absolutely nothing to do with him. Nothing whatsoever. And he's there, and he's just trying desperately to hold on. You can tell he's holding on to the memory of Albert. That's what's keeping him going. The thought that he might see his best friend again. So and of course, as I've said, this is a World War I play. So throughout there is this thought, that this underlying current that this is going to end tragically, because traditionally all World War I plays and films, at least that I've seen so far, which admittedly aren't many, but in my experience they always tend to end tragically. Someone always ends up dying, if not everyone ends up dying. So throughout it all, there's this real underlying tension at all the action sequences, such as Joey charging into a hail of machine gun fire or running away from tanks, and Albert himself when he's caught in the trenches and going on the offensive in things like the Somme. There's this sense that any second now one of these people either the man or the horse or both are going to die. Maybe they'll be reunited for a second, and then they'll both get killed, or they'll never see each other again, and they'll have died in a pointless cause. But one of the main reasons this play worked for me is because, spoiler warning, give you a few seconds to go away, is because this has a happy ending. Alright? Instead of it following the traditional sense of everyone dying, both the boy and the horse are reunited at the end. And they go back home, and they both survived the First World War. And that's an amazing thing to see, because it was each other that, even though they didn't see each other throughout the whole of the war until the end, then it was that thinking of the other that kept them going. At least in Albert's case it was. I mean, throughout the entire thing, he makes friends with a private, and he tells him that what's keeping him going is that he's looking for his horse. He's looking for this horse that was his best friend. And near the end, there's a point where Joey's been injured, and you think that the British are going to shoot him, because they don't think they can heal his leg or do anything with it. And at the same time, Albert is in the room, but he doesn't know Joey's there because he's had a problem with his eyes, and he's basically given up at this point. He's like, you know what, screw it, I don't want to live anymore. I failed. There's no way I'm gonna see him again. And there's a moment where a gun is being pointed at Joey's head, and the trigger's pulled, and it's a misfire, and the tension in this scene is palpable. You think, oh my gosh, this is it, this is when it's gonna happen. And it doesn't. They're reunited, and it's the most touching thing I've ever seen. It goes beyond any other film I did. Perhaps it's because it is a horse and a man, because in the past, plays about best friends or family members looking for each other, it's like, it's the same old story. Oh, well, it's your brother, a best friend who's a human. Of course you're gonna go and look for them. That's the whole point. But when it's a horse, when it's something that most people would consider to be not as intelligent as you, that's that's a different matter. But it's just so beautiful. I was moved to tears. I couldn't believe how touched I was to know that these two had survived through hell, basically, and went home. It was magnificent. So, yeah, as I've already said, performances great, plot great, effects superb. Not much anything else I can say about this, really. I mean, so yeah, see it in London, in Lancaster Square. If you have the chance to go and see it, then yeah, go see it. Instantly. Why aren't you seeing it now? Go book tickets. go and see it, and I promise you will not regret it. It is the best play you will probably see in the near future. I can't see a better play than this one being brought out anytime soon. Criticisms. Do I have any criticisms? I can't really think of any. No, not really. Well, except, this is really a nitpick. The officer who bought Joey is captured, and we never see him again. But don't really care about him. He was just a means to an end, really. The only other criticism I have, which isn't actually about this play, it's about the movie that Steven Spielberg is making. Yeah, if he screws this up, I will be extremely annoyed, because if he doesn't capture everything right, then he'll have diminished everything that this play is about. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Again, as I've said, this is my first review. My next review, if I make one, will probably be scripted. I hope you don't feel I've wasted your time, and I hope you go and see it, and I hope that you tune in to any more reviews I do. So yeah, see you guys.